Hi, welcome to video 8-3, the importance of using stories in your answers for a great radio interview. Now, I was a college professor for 9 years, and I always invited my students to call me 2 or 3 years later with any questions or if there was anything I could do to help them. 3 or 4 years after I had taught one particular woman, she called and said, "Can a friend and I come over and ask you some questions about entrepreneurship?" I was, of course, interested. I try to work hard to do that. And we went and had coffee. At the coffee, the student asked me some of the most stupidly embarrassing questions I can ever remember. Things that I was shocked that she couldn't remember. And I was actually very upset with my teaching skills because obviously she hadn't learned very much. However, she did remember just about every story that I had ever told. And she said things like, "Jim, you remember that story about the time, blah, 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 blah?" And I was like, "No, I don't remember that story." And a few minutes later, she would give me enough details that I could remember. And go, "Oh, yeah, I remember that story. It's a good one." She'd go, "Yeah, it's a great story." People remember stories long after they remember details or learning points. People relate stories to each other. If you want a great takeaway, tell a story that's going to be repeated again and again and again. That's the best thing that you can do to make sure that your word is actually permeated through society. A great story will do that. I would encourage you to do this. For each of your questions on your question sheet, have 2 stories that make that point. You're not always going to be able to use 2 stories, but think if you have a 44-minute interview, you're going to need as many stories as you can get. All right, that's the end of Module 8. In Module 9, we're going to come back and give you 23 pointers of how to have a great live interview. I'll be right back.